Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com. And today we will talk about a specific role that all medical device companies should have within their employees or maybe within their consultants. And it is the role of a PRRC. So I have with me Anne Jury and Elem Ayne, who will be helping us to introduce this role, to explain to us what people have to understand about it, how you can be a PRRC, and also they will talk to us about one association they created, which is a Team-PRRC, so that we'll know more after that. So Elem and Anne, welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast.
Thank you, Munir. Thank you for inviting us to your podcast.
Thank you.
Just to introduce myself quickly, and then I will let the parole to Anne. So I'm Elem Ayne. I'm an independent consultant, and I'm the president of the Team-PRRC association. So it's the new not-for-profit European association. So for the profession of the person responsible for regulatory compliance. Great.
So Anne, your turn.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Anne Jury, and I'm also, I have the honour of being the Vice President of Team-PRRC with Elem. But we are both regulatory affairs professionals in the industry, and we have an interest ourselves in the role of person responsible for regulatory compliance.
Great. So thank you, Anne, for that. And thank you, Elem. So as I've said, we will really try to dig more on this role of PRRC that maybe people know already, or maybe that people are still asking a lot of questions. So when we have prepared this episode, we had a lot of questions discussed. We had also the webinar that you created, and I participated to that. And I heard also a lot of people that are asking some questions. So we'll try to see what we can answer and what we cannot, because I know that there is things that we don't know for now. So first of all, Elem, maybe can you make just a quick explanation of what is the role of PRRC, or a short introduction of it?
Sure. So we can say that it's a new profession described on the regulation, so on the MDR, and this person has to be responsible on the compliance with the regulation for the medical devices, and he has to be some specific qualification and expertise. It's compared to the other sectors, we can say that it's not really a new concept.
Okay.
But
I think we can talk about, for example, the pharma industry, maybe with the person responsible, but it's not really the same role, but it's maybe we can say comparable. So there is those kind of people that are really in charge, and that are checking their hands when they have to sign a document, because they are responsible for everything. So it's more like it's not an easy role. So I can maybe make related to this role from pharma, but I don't know if there is other roles in other industries about that.
So as you said, in the pharma, we have the qualified person. In the cosmetic sector, we have the person responsible. Also, we have on the I don't know how to say in English. So the RGPD, the RGPD.
It's GDPR for the GDPR role.
Yeah.
Okay. The officer that is responsible for GDPR for the data breach and etc. Yeah, true.
Yeah, but on most of that, under the MDD also we have the security officer.
Okay.
In Germany. So and now, so in the MDR, we will see that there is a trend to have the same person. So in the medical device field, so now we have the person responsible for regulatory compliance.
So it will be one person that will be really, if I can say, one person, we will discuss about that, but there can be maybe one person in charge of some functions really on this role. So, as I said, we have companies that have to have this person. So, Anne, maybe what kind of company should have this role within their organization? Maybe from let's talk about the economic operators. We have the manufacturers, the importers, distributors, etc. Who or which one of them should have a PRRC within their organization?
Well, the regulations are quite clear that the manufacturer has to have a PRRC, but also the authorized representatives.
Okay.
And interestingly, the MDCG guidance says that cannot be the same person for both organizations that are connected. So if a company has their own PRRC and an authorized rep, the authorized rep must have a different PRRC.
Yeah.
So those are quite clear. But there's also a category of distributors and importers who have to have a PRRC if they carry out activities which make them behave like a manufacturer. So
yeah,
Article 16 covers certain cases where they're carrying out activities that would require them to also have a PRRC.
No, it's true. It's true. We have the rule. I mean, a distributor, as soon as it's changing a product or is changing the intended purpose or changing something, it becomes a manufacturer. So at the end, he has then to have also a PRRC. When we are talking about manufacturer, it's manufacturer that is in Europe and also the manufacturer outside of Europe.
Yeah, that's all manufacturers. So that makes no difference. If you're going to be based outside of the EU, you still need to have a PRRC.
So what do you think will be the challenge for those companies that are outside of Europe? So because they have to have a person, but will there be the same controls as the ones that are in Europe, or is there a difference?
No, there's no difference, and they have the same requirements to meet. They have to appoint at least one person. They have the same responsibilities. I guess maybe a possible challenge would be that person, if they were based in a different regulatory region, is going to have to be able to multitask. So they're going to have more than one regulatory area to cover.
Okay.
But, the requirements are the same, and that person's going to have to meet the same requirements for expertise as well to be appointed.
Expertise and diploma. So it's also the issue with the diplomas that people have to have. We have also to find some equivalency between what's happening in other regions and Europe also. So when you said it will be the same, so who will be checking all that?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure who will be checking that. Of course, the first person you're going to bump up against when you've appointed your PRRC is probably a notified body auditor. So we'll see what their opinion is of what is equivalent in terms of diplomas and certificates for degree courses and so on. No, it was my first thought when I read the guidance is, well, how do you know which is equivalent? Who do you contact to find out whether your American certificate is equivalent and so on? I don't know.
No, it's clear. I think this will be the unknown that we'll discover later. That foreign companies will have maybe some struggle to explain that the person they appointed has the right diploma or the right experience, etc. Because there is some differences within different regions. So for you, Elem, so when we are talking about a PRRC, there is the possibility to have a PRRC within your organization, but there is also the possibility to hire consultants. Can you help us to understand what is the difference and when we are not able to hire a consultant?
So absolutely. So the manufacturers who are considered like a small and micro enterprise, so it means that if they have fewer than 50 employee and turnover less than 10 million euro, okay. They can subcontract the function. So they can work with an external PRRC or an independent consultant. And if it's, we can say, if it's a company that it has more than 50 employees and a turnover more than 10 million euros, they have to have a PRRC within the organization.
So they have to have the person within the org chart that they are appointed, etc., within the organization. So they have to kind of hire this person or appoint an existing person. So it's not like you have to hire a completely new person for that. If one person within your organization is qualified, has the diploma and has the experience, we can, above to his current function, add this PRRC function, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has to be visible by the organization.
Okay.
So it means that regarding the quality management system, it has to be in the chart of the company. And he
job description also?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He has to have maybe a new contract adding this function,
okay.
Or in the job description also. And he has to be recognized easily by all the company. And we also have a requirement on the regulation regarding the registration. So in UDAMED, the database, regarding the Annex 6, Part A. So the manufacturer has to provide the information for the registration of the economic operators and the devices, but it includes the need to register also the PRRC, so its name, its address, and all the details of its contact, and it has to be updated.
Okay. So I think it's then it's an important role also for the EU organization, EU market, because your name will be really on this database. If there is any issue, your name is there, it's connected, so you have really to address that. When we said, as I've said, we have also the possibility to get somebody from the company that has this role. There is also something that is important, is about independency. So, can I have a person that is reporting maybe to the production manager or reporting to the marketing manager or marketing director, that maybe there is a conflict in terms of objectives? So is there some rules in terms of independency within the organization for this person?
Shall I answer that one?
And maybe.
Reply.
Okay. I don't think that the word independence is used as such. The closest that the regulation comes to talking about this is that the person responsible should not suffer any disadvantage in their role, which is pointing more towards them being not excluded from bonuses or promotions or things like that, but also perhaps indirectly is pointing to that. So you should have the independence of function to be able to ensure that all the activities regarding product compliance occur appropriately and correctly. So yes, you need organizational freedom so independence in that sense to do the job. I think it's perhaps more of a commercial requirement to think about in terms of the external PRRC. So if you're recruiting a consultant, you may want to include a clause that requires a non-conflict of interest requirement, because do you really want someone who is also being a PRRC for all your competitors? Okay. No matter how carefully we try to keep confidentiality, you don't want to be sharing perhaps all your secrets with that person, but that's not a regulatory issue.
Okay, no, I think it's a good point. I never thought about that, hiring a consultant that already worked for your competitor. So it can be also some kind of conflict of interest or conflict. I don't know if there is any interest for him, but there is more a conflict here. So which is a great one. When we say, we can hire this person. So we said that this person should have a diploma or some experience. Can we clarify again what is the rules so you can be a PRRC? Maybe Elem?
Yes, for sure. So it is described on the Article 15 on the regulation, and the person who can be designated or can be appointed as the PRRC has to have a diploma or a certificate or other formal qualification in the member states, in law, in medicine, in pharmacy, in engineering, or
not in art or in literature or this kind of thing, I suppose.
No, it's just in the relevant scientific discipline. So as described in the regulation, and he has to have at least 1 year of professional experience in regulatory affairs or quality management system relating to the medical device.
Okay.
Or alternatively, if he has no diploma, he can also have 4 years of professional experience, so in regulatory affairs or quality management system relating to medical device, for sure.
Okay, so it's something that is really written there, so you have to have that. If I have 1 year, I have 1 year of experience, and I participate to a training, like the training that all the consulting firms are doing. I'm also providing some trainings in terms of EU MDR. So if somebody is participating to this training, is it qualified as a diploma or a certificate or something like that?
It has to be recognized as equivalent by the member state. So as we said, so it can be or not really. It depends.
As you said, I think it's the same as what we said at the beginning. So notified bodies has to check also the PRRC role and experience and diploma. But is there a database for them to show that, yeah, this diploma is valid or not, this diploma is equivalent or not, or this certificate is equivalent? This can be really the challenge that we'll see within the next maybe years regarding this role. In terms of diploma of experience, it's fine. So I have those 1 year of experience. I have my diploma. After that, I have to kind of have a specific role within the organization. As I've said, you can do your current role, plus you have to have maybe 5 or 6 additional roles or additional activities to do. So there is activities like checking the technical documentation, the declaration of conformity, the post-marketing surveillance, there is the quality management system, etc., etc. So there is a lot of all those functions that the person has to have within their job description. So in terms of issues, if tomorrow I am appointed as a PRRC, and there is an issue on the market because apparently maybe we let pass some products that were wrong and it maybe had some damage or some patients. Who is really responsible for all this? Is the PRRC or is it the company, or what is the rules related to that? Maybe Anne, if you know about it?
Well, this is one of those areas that we're not absolutely clear on. All matters of enforcement related to the regulations are handled at the member state level. So the competent authorities decide what penalties or fines are imposed in any case of infringement. So the liability aspect may vary from country to country, and yet not every country has published its process for that yet. So that's one aspect to it, but also whatever the PRRC is doing, we need to be able to show that they are maintaining their competence as well in terms of what they're doing. And there's nothing in the regulation about that. So I'm interested, in questions like, it says you have to have a diploma plus 1 year or 4 years in most cases. Does it matter if that was 5 years ago and I've been and worked in the food industry since, and then I came back again? Or, how relevant and current does your competence have to be, and how do you demonstrate that? So doing a training course and so on, all of that stuff might have relevance in order to show that you are maintaining your qualifications and so on. And that's, that we don't know yet because we're not that far into this. But,
We had this, so we have the regulation, we have the MDCG guidance. So this is not answering all the questions apparently for the moment. I heard that the NDCG guidance will be revised again because maybe there was some misunderstanding also inside. So do you know about this? Do you know about when all this will be arriving? Because maybe this will be trying to help you fill the gaps.
Well, all we know is that it's still on the agenda for NDCG. It's one of the documents listed for review. Whether or not the current coronavirus has slowed all that down, we're not sure. They haven't issued any further plans, but it's certainly currently shows us on the list for review this year. What will be in that review is another matter. So whether that's a review of the existing document or an expansion of the existing document, we don't know. But we'd really like to know, and we'd really like to be involved if that were possible. So that's one of the goals of the association, is to have a voice in those kind of scenarios.
No, I think it's great, and I hope we'll hear more about that. Let's imagine, if I can say, related to the PRRC, this is a new role, something that is coming. We have the right to hire a consultant, as you've said, Elem, if we are lower than 50%, and if we have less than 10 million euro as a turnover. So can we think in futures a new business starting, like a farm of PRRC people that I will, one company is calling me one morning, I need a PRRC, here is my PRRC, etc. Do you think this is a possibility that can happen? Anne or Elem, you have some idea?
Yeah, and so I let you, reply.
Okay, are you happy for me to answer that? Right, okay. I think it will be interesting. For a start, as we said at the beginning, it's not a new role, it's not a new idea. It's a new formalization of what the regulatory affairs person has always had to do within a company. But it's making it a more formal requirement to have that person more closely involved. So if you are a small company using an external resource for that, then no, that's got to be a lot tighter contractually. So there's already lots of regulatory affairs people in the industry. As we know, it's already a huge part of the industry. And whether or not, I'm not sure that it will mean that we'll see a whole lot of new people arriving who are just PRRC. Okay. I don't think that'll happen. I wish we could farm them, because there's a huge shortage of regulatory people generally. But I don't think that will happen. But what I do think is that there will be a growth in the formal recognition. So training courses, we're already seeing them pop up everywhere, training courses on regulatory affairs generally. What I think might happen, and perhaps would be a good thing, is for it to be a formally recognized continuing professional development style of point system for maintaining competence and gaining competence. That would help us to have a best practice, a sort of code of practice and a level of expertise for the job. But there's one other thing I wanted to say, and that was just that one of the part of the wording in the regs is about the having expertise in the field of medical devices. Yeah. And nobody knows quite what that means either, because does it mean you have to be experienced in the particular technology where you are the PRRC? So like, your question before, what if something goes wrong? Yeah. How much experience do you have to have specifically of orthopedic implants or wound dressings or, pacemakers or whatever it is? I think a lot of regulatory affairs people are more generalists than that. So it's rare for somebody with detailed technical knowledge to go down that career path.
No, I think it's completely clear. It's something that, as you say, it's unknown. If I come from ophthalmology industry and I go then to pacemakers, which is completely different, is my qualification or is my actual role or my skills, is it sufficient for doing the role at the pacemaker company, which is class 3 products? This is, I think, as you've said, something that will be maybe of a problem. I suppose the PRRC has not to be specifically technical specialist of all the products, but I suppose it has to know how things should go, how things should be used, what kind of documents should be available, etc., etc. And as you've said, I suppose with additional trainings, it can have maybe more evolution within the company and get more skilled in terms of the product. So it's something that will be interesting to see also, because in terms of liability, as I've said, we have to be really careful. I suppose some people will refuse to be PRRC just because of this liability problem, so that can raise within them.
Yeah, just Monique, if I can add something, we also have noted that there is a trend to become an independent consultant. So lots of people who are compliant with the qualification to become a PRRC. So there is a trend to found their own consultancy company. So we have noted that also. So I don't really know if it's a new business, but there is a trend to become an independent consultant.
I think as we've said, so a lot of independent consultants will maybe add this PRRC role within their service to say, I can be a PRRC because I have the qualification. But I suppose for me, I saw this growth of independent consultant due to the EU MDR, because a lot of people were asking, do you have some qualification on EU MDR? And this is maybe what happened really. And the PRRC is kind of a collateral damage and saying, I want to help you on EU MDR, but I can be also your PRRC, so it can be also something. But I think, there is more and more people that want now to enter this field of medical device regulatory affairs, which is good. I mean, because we need more people to help. But we have also to try to avoid any derive and people that are doing things just because they think it's better when it's not really interesting. Okay, so I think related to the PRRC role, we are really on the right path. I want now to talk more about your organization, the association Team-PRRC. So Team-PRRC is an association, non-lucrative association. Can we compare it to Team-NB, Team Notified Body, or because there is a lot of similarity in terms of the term? So do you have kind of the same role as kind of Team-NB or not?
And I let you know, reply to that.
I don't think it's quite comparable. We were inspired to name the association that way because Team-NB is recognized as an EU association, of notified bodies, but that's really where the parallel ends. Of course, they are part of the regulatory framework, and we're very much not.
Okay.
So our membership, we want to reflect the questions and hopefully the answers to of the membership. So it's an individual membership. You can't join as a company unless you are a sponsor. Okay. But the main membership will be individuals who are actually carrying out the role of PRRC. So in that respect, it's totally different. But having said that, we really want to encourage our members to have a say, to get involved. And if they have a strong feeling about the direction for further guidance, for codes of practice and best practice in general, then we want to hear from people. So if you're thinking about joining, don't just think about joining. Think about joining and getting involved.
Yeah, true.
If you want to.
And one thing, maybe just to attract more people within Team-PRRC, what will that be my advantage, if I can say, or what is my interest to be part of Team-PRRC, a part of maybe knowing more about the PRRC role? So is there some kind of interest for me? I mean, what will I win, or what will be my gain by doing that? Elem, maybe?
Yeah, I will reply to that. So the members benefit from professional practice secured by our code of ethics. Okay. So first, we will try to find or to help our members to some solutions to their professional problems. We will provide them an access to some regulatory text and regulatory watch. We will also try to do some conferences and specialized training, so only for them, because it's really important for us to give and provide a high level of professionalism of the PRRC. And in case of conflict between PRRC and its employer or the notified body of the company, we can also intervene as a mediator, so on demand, and we'll try to find an agreement between them.
Okay. I think it's great. So do you have also some connection with the European Commission maybe, or try to discuss with them?
We will try to do that. We have so on the board our secretary, so one people who are already in close contact with the European Commission, and he's also a reviewer for some text with the European Commission.
Okay.
So we will try to have a close how to say it, a close relationship between them, to be able also to have a voice for the benefit of the PRRC in Europe.
No, I think it's fine. And if you are external of Europe, is PRRC external of Europe can also be member of the Team-PRRC?
Sure. We are open to all of the people who are eligible to become a PRRC, and we are also open to people who are not really have the qualification and who don't meet the criteria to become the PRRC. But if they have an interest in the role of the PRRC, they can also apply to our association, becoming a supporting member.
Okay, no, I think it's great. So I think you can then bring them more information, upskill maybe them with your trainings, and provide them support if there is any issue within their current position, which is, I think, something great. And maybe a last question. So if I want to be a member, how much will it cost me?
Well, it's going to be 250 euros per annum, but we have an introductory offer at the moment of 200 euros. Okay. So to gain access to all the things that Elem just covered, plus a monthly newsletter.
Okay.
You can find out more on the website about how to join. Elem, how long is the discount valid for? I can't remember.
It's until the date of application of the MDR.
Okay. 26th of May 2021.
Absolutely, we would like to mark the date of application.
No, I think it's great. So thank you for that. Thank you also for all the work you are doing. I know that I participated to one webinar that we are doing also with your members, and I think it was really great because they had a lot of questions and you were trying to answer to them or help them to find the right answer, which is, I think, a great role. So if you are a PRRC, or if you want to be a PRRC, I really advise you to register as a member of Team-PRRC. I think it will be really helpful. Elem, something else?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to add something. It's really important for us because in the association we will negotiate also with some really good organization, some trainings and so on. So we have started some collaboration with DM Expert, with Obelisk company, with MDLO also, which provides a very good regulation text and templates and also trainings. And our members will benefit some very interesting discount. So it's very in the interest of the PRRC to become a member of our association. And so
I think it's great.
Yeah. And I would like to say that, the association is directed by some volunteers, so like Anne, me, and other people, so expert in the new European regulation. And we are very demanding with regard to the quality of our association. So, and we aim to promote active compliance according to MDR and IVDR also.
Okay, no, it's great. As I've said, yeah, it's great to have some volunteers, some people that are really trying to help a full community right into that. So don't hesitate to go and to really try to apply to that, or contact directly Elem or Anne, and you will have maybe or ask them your question and see how they can maybe promote you at their Team-PRRC offer. Okay, so thank you, Elem. Thank you, Anne. Just wanted to say that this week we have the Green Belt certificate, that was over. Was over a few weeks ago, but we'll start it again. So please don't forget that today is the last day to register for the Green Belt certificate. So go to school.easymedicaldevice.com. We have selected some students, and we will try to go with them through all the PRRC, the EU MDR role. PRRC will be included inside also, so that they can know more about it. But don't forget, today is the last day. Okay, so thank you, Elem. Thank you, Anne. Thank you for your support. Please, people, don't forget, go to Team-PRRC, go to the website also to see what is going there. And I wish you a really nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, Monia.
Thank you, Monia.
Bye-bye.
Bye.